Hey everybody, welcome back to Gardening with the Landscape Connection. My name is Michelle. I own a garden center in Northern Illinois, Zone 5. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you are a returning person, thank you so much for coming back. If you have not subscribed to our videos, but you like them, please do so. Share them with your friends and leave comments below. I would love to hear from you. Also, make sure you click that bell because then you'll know when our videos come out. So this weekend I have a garden show and it is like our kickoff for spring. So I got my first load of flowers in yesterday and we take almost maybe 75% of them to the show. We have been hosting this show for about 10 years and we host an area called Planters Row in where you can come by vegetables, herbs, annuals, perennials, yard art. I have like 2 rooms that I do. And I kind of have exclusivity to it. Nobody else sells plants there but me. And we do it at really great pricing to kick off the spring. We give out coupons about our garden center so that people will come and visit us because, you know, in the world of gardening, being, you know, in our 9th year, we're still pretty young. We're kind of babies out there against the giants that have been around for 40 and 50 and 100 years. So we still need to let people know that we're here. And so we host the Planters Row in the hopes of bringing more people to our store to experience what it is that we do and what it is that we have. So today, what we're gonna do is we are gonna make a couple spring containers that we will be giving away this weekend. I also have some yard art that I'm gonna give away. So all weekend long, we'll be giving away little raffle prizes and it'll just be a fun weekend. But what I wanted to do was, while I'm making these containers, I thought maybe I'd show you some of the flowers that are actually what we call cool season annuals. Now, what I plant in here are gonna be annuals, but I wanted to show you some of the ones that are more resilient to the cold. So sometimes you might have to run outside if the temperature drops below, you know, 28. A light frost is kind of between 28 and 32. A hard frost is if the temperatures drop below 28. So these do really well. Probably if it got down to like 30, they'd be okay, but you might have to throw a cover over them if it got colder than that. We do have some cold nights coming, but I think it's getting ready to be spring finally. Even though it's been spring for a while, it's been cold, we've had snow, and so we're hoping that the temperatures are gonna warm back up, and I'm making these pots and giving them away because it'll be fun to do. So the first one I want to talk about are pansies. Pansies are those tried and true in the South. You can grow them as a perennial all year long. A long time ago, I lived in South Carolina for a little while, and I can remember driving down the road and seeing all the pansies that were still in bloom. Like in January, it was like, holy cow. And if you're somebody that comes from the North, you're like, that's just unheard of. Now, this one here is called Beaconsfield. It's a matrix series. And look at that. Isn't that flower gorgeous? It's just got that beautiful yellow eye, and it's got the purple, and it's got the light white in there. I just think that the coloring of this is so beautiful. So we're going to use that in one of our pots. And then another one that I brought out was just this deep purple. It's all purple here. It's got that yellow eye. It's got a little bit of white in the eye. This one here is just called Matrix Purple. So I have a couple 4-packs of those. I'm going to put those in one of the pots. And then I've got this one here, and this one's called Pink Shades. It's also in the Matrix series. And as you can see here, it's got the beautiful pink and the mauves with the yellow and white eye. Absolutely gorgeous. They don't have much of a smell, but they are really super cheery. I really like pansies because they will be able to handle some of the cold that we get and still perk right back up afterwards. All right, so in this pot, those are the pansies that I'm going to use. And pot number 1, I'm actually going to be using some Nemesia. Now, this is a cool season. It can handle cooler temperatures. Sometimes it poops out in the middle of the summer if it gets really super hot. A lot of times you can move your pot into the shade and give it a little bit of protection, and they'll last a little bit longer. I've had these go sometimes all summer long, but if we get crazy, crazy hot temperatures for days and days or weeks on end, then these will really struggle, and sometimes they will poop out. But they are a fabulous spring flower into early summer. So this one is called Banana Swirl. Isn't that great? It's got these nice groupings of flowers up here. It's got that white edge with the yellow and the purple pink in the middle. I just think these are great. Now these are going to get 6 to 12 inches tall in your pot. So this is more of a centerpiece plant or a filler plant around, depending on what you make your centerpiece plant to be. So these in my pot that I'm doing, these are actually going to be fillers. Okay. The other one that I'm going to do is I'm going to do some alyssum in the pot, because alyssum can handle more cold too, but alyssum can also keep going through the summer. And so even if I decide to refresh this pot, or whoever wins it decides to refresh this pot, this will keep going. Now, alyssum is kind of your filler, and then it spills a little bit. They're going to get 6 to 10 inches tall. And if you know, this is all going to fill out in white. Alyssum is a nice ground cover as well, but they're a nice accent in the pot, and I like the little white, and that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use the little white ones in there, and I think that's just going to be beautiful. All right, so what we're going to call my thriller plant is going to be a snapdragon. So I am going to put a snapdragon in the middle, and this is a crimson, and so it says that it's red, but I've grown this one before, and it kind of looks more like a plum purple red all together, so it'll go well with the colors that I'm putting it with. This one here is going to get it says 22 inches tall. So I'm going to use one of these in the middle of my pot as my centerpiece plant, and then I'll be planting everything else around it. So that's pot number 1. Oh, I am going to add, and I love doing this, I'm going to add some lettuce. It makes really nice texture, and you only have to add one, and I'm going to add actually one on each side of the pot, and then the lettuce will grow. You could actually eat it and pick it out, and then wow, how great is that? So we're going to add an edible to our arrangement too. Okay, the next pot that I'm going to do, I'm going to have my centerpiece. I'm going to use a Dracaena spike. They're super easy to grow. You kind of just put them in your pot and let them go. Now, depending on the size of the pot, these can get really big or really small. If you feed them a lot, they'll get really big. But remember, it is a houseplant in essence, and so it will only get as big as the pot that you put it in, and only as big as you feed it. So I've gotten them to get really big in a bigger pot, but in a smaller pot, sometimes they'll stay smaller. But I love the tall, strappy foliage, and so we're going to use this as our main centerpiece, or our, I'm going to sneeze. Oh my goodness, excuse me. So we're going to use this as our main centerpiece thriller piece in the middle. All right, I already showed you the pansies that we're going to use. We're going to use these, what did I call these? These are the pink shades, and this is the matrix purple. So we're going to put those two together, okay? And then we're also going to be putting in here a Lismachia. And so this one is Goldie. It's called Creeping Jenny. It's got that nice chartreuse foliage on it. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. And so we're going to be putting this kind of as our spiller in the front. You can leave this in the pot until later. And the one word of caution with these though is if you grow these in your pots, if they anchor into the ground and you're in a zone where these will grow, which would be probably zone 5 and below, these will actually start to grow in the ground. So if you don't want that, make sure you don't let these touch the ground. Okay. And then the other one that I'm going to use that can handle a little more cold is Lobelia. And again, I'm going to use white to kind of break up some of that dark purple. So this is also going to get 8 to 10 inches tall. So this is going to be kind of that back piece or the side piece, and a filler piece, the spike coming out the middle, and then the lower stuff around it. So this one here is called white, just techno white. And so aren't those great? So I love the white in that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I am going to readjust my camera so that you can actually see the table and what I'm doing. Okay. All right. So I'm going to be using these really pretty ceramic bowls. They have this beautiful blue color to them. I have filled them with my ultimate potting soil from Fertilome. This is the kind that I like. So I have filled that up, and then I'm going to add some of the Biotone starter fertilizer. I'm probably in this little container, probably going to put a half a cup, and then I'm just going to mix that in there. This is an organic fertilizer, and so it's not going to burn your roots, and this will be enough food for it for quite a while, and then they can start feeding it like later in the summer. And I guess what I do with my pots like this is you can do one of two things. I try to make mine last as long as possible, so I'll move mine into the shade so that it will last longer once that heat of the afternoon sun comes. Or if things start to poop out, I'll just pop something out and pop something else back in. So the first one I'm going to put in is I am going to put in my, and look at the roots on the bottom of this. Now if you get a container like that, you can just pull those roots right off. That's okay. Okay, and I'm just going to squeeze the bottom, turn it upside down, and look at those beautiful roots in there, all nice and white. Okay, and so I'm going to just dig a hole in the middle, and you want to try to plant it as deep as it was in the container. So this one's actually going to come all the way to the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to backfill around that, and I'm just going to tamp that in. so that I don't have air pockets in my soil and I have good root to soil contact. So this is going to be my centerpiece. Then I'm going to put 2 Nemesias in here, kind of in the back like this. And again, with spring pots, I will really pack them out because sometimes they aren't in there that long, or sometimes I know I'm going to be flipping them out once spring is over. The other thing is, because I'm giving these away, I want them to look really full and I want them to look really nice right away. Okay, so I actually think I need to pull some of this dirt out. I have a tray over there. I'm not just throwing it on the floor. Okay, my potting tray is sitting over there because this table's not big enough for that too. Okay, so I'm gonna dig a hole and I am gonna pull the tags off of here so that when whoever wins this, I'll stick all the tags together on the side. That way they know what it is that is in the pot. So that way if they find something that they really love, because we hope that a gardener's gonna win this and not someone who's gonna kill it in a week because they never watered it. But you never know who's gonna win something. So, okay, so there we go. I've got my snapdragons and my Nemesia right here. All right, so then I've got my pansies, which I wanna put in the front, and then I'm gonna anchor a little lettuce on each side. So I'm gonna anchor a little lettuce right here. And I think, actually, I'm gonna turn it the other way. No, that's right, I want it that way. Okay, so I'm gonna take my little lettuce. This is a butter lettuce, so it gets the head, but you can pick the leaves and eat the leaves as it's growing. So you can do that, and so I'm just gonna put that right in there. And I've done the lettuce before in my containers, and as long as you're picking the outer leaves while it's growing, they don't seem to overwhelm the container. So that's what I do when I'm planting it. So I've still got 2 more in there that I will use. Okay, oh, my driver just got here with the trailer that we're gonna load up to take to the show. Okay, so now I have 2 4-packs of pansies, and when I do the little 4-packs, what I like to do, let me get this tag out of here. I don't plant them one. I kind of group the whole thing together. So I'm actually gonna take all 4 of these out of the cell, kind of like this, and I'm gonna group the whole thing together like a bouquet like this. I'm gonna make one big hole, and I'm gonna stuff all 4 of these together in that hole, and then I'm gonna do the other side the exact same way, and then it's gonna look really nice and full. And they aren't gonna be in here long enough, at least if it was my pot, they wouldn't be in here long enough to overgrow, but this is gonna be absolutely gorgeous because it's nice and full. Okay, so now I've got those in there. Got my little lettuce here, I've got my pansies here, and then I'm gonna put my alyssum in the back. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this one out, and I'll get the tag off of the other one. Okay, and then I'm gonna put this one right in the back. Oh, I didn't make my hole deep enough. Pull some of that dirt out of there. Gotta pull a little bit more dirt out. Okay, there we go. So I've got that in there, and then I've got room for the last one. I'm gonna have to pull more dirt out because I put too much dirt in this pot to start with. Okay. And so I do need a tag. All right, so I'm gonna take my alyssum here. And again, I'm going to put that one in there and make sure I tamp it in nice and full back there. I'm going to clean off my edges. Let's throw that piece away. Okay, we're gonna get our pots all picked up here. Whoops. Okay, we'll get these picked up, and I'm just gonna put these over here because I might need to use those for another project. Okay, so now this one is done and ready to go. So I got a tag, I got a Nemesia, I've got my alyssum or my lobularia, I've got my pansies, which is the Beacons Fill Matrix. I don't need 2 tags. And I've got my snapdragon. So that's everything that's in here. And then I'm just gonna take these tags and I'm gonna stuff them right in there like this. And then I'll get this all watered and then give it time to drain, and then we'll load this up and take this to the show. So there we go. The snapdragons aren't blooming yet, but that's okay. All right, so there we go. That one is now done. I'm gonna come around and show it to you close up. How beautiful is this? Here's our little lettuce, and then we've got our beautiful pansies, our Nemesia here. You turn around backwards, This would be your alyssum here, and then you've got your pretty snapdragon right in the middle. And so isn't that gorgeous? We'll be giving that away. Huh, I would want to win that. Okay, I'm gonna put this one up here. And we're gonna do the last one. And again, I'm gonna do it in the exact same container, but this time I'm actually gonna dump some of the dirt out and not start with so much so that I don't have to pull it out. Now, I'm gonna use my Dracaena spike, pull my tag out. This is gonna be my center. And so sometimes you have to ask yourself when you're doing a pot, is this a pot that you're gonna see from every direction? Or is this a pot that you're gonna see from one side? And that might determine where you put your main tall piece. So I'm gonna do these with the assumption, because of the kind of pot it is, it's kind of a low round bowl, that you're gonna see this from all sides. So I'm gonna put that spike in the middle. Then I'm going to plant my lobelia, and this is that beautiful white lobelia. And again, I'm gonna plant it as deep as it is in the pot. So I'm gonna get it down in there, and then I'll have to get some more dirt to backfill around. I'm gonna put that at like 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. So that's gonna be like right next to my spikes. Okay, so in there it goes. Grab a little dirt. My glasses keep falling down, so why don't I just move those over here? Okay, so then I've got that in there. I've got my spike in the middle. Okay, so now I know that I want this Creeping Jenny to be in the center of the front of the pot because I want it to spill over. So I'm gonna put that right in the center, and then I'm gonna take these dark purple matrix and I'm gonna put them on either side. And again, I'm gonna pop all of them out as a 4-pack, if I can pop them out. Sometimes you can just squeeze them and dip them upside down. If a leaf or two breaks off, it's okay, they'll grow back. Okay, and again, I'm gonna grab it as a bouquet, and I'm just gonna kind of gently pinch those together. I'm gonna make one hole and put them in there, and then I gotta backfill around them because I took some of the dirt out. Let me get that in there without messing everything up. All right, and then I'm gonna do the other side as well. And then I'm gonna put the pink shades in the back. So you'll have that white breaking up, and then you'll have the colors on each side. So depending on how you're viewing it, one side will have this really beautiful purple, and the other side will have the beautiful pink shades. Okay, so I need that tag, and I don't need this. I do need my Creeping Jenny tag. So I'm gonna make sure I hold on to all of those. All right, so here I've got a 6-pack, and I'm gonna put the whole 6-pack right here in this big area that's left. All right, so again, I'm going to grab my tag so that I have it, and then I'm just going to pinch the bottoms of these and kind of lightly dump them out. And I did pre-water these yesterday before I started, so that way they were already moist when I put them in here. So I'm gonna plant these in 2s. So I'm gonna do 2, and I'm kind of doing them front to back like this. And then I'm gonna plant 2 more right here. And then I'm gonna plant my last 2. Oh, I gotta make that hole a little deeper. Right there, just grab some dirt. I just need a little more dirt. Oh, I would wanna win this. And then I'll clean the whole thing off. Okay. Now, check this out. I would wanna win this one too. I just love plants. I want to win everything. Okay, so let me show you this one. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got our beautiful spike in the middle. So one side you'd be looking at it like this, and this is that beautiful Creeping Jenny, that nice chartreuse color. It's gonna spill over here. We've got our dark purple pansies. We've got the white here, and they're gonna get about this big because they get about 12 inches high. And then you flip it around to the other side, and you've got that beautiful pink shades in here. Isn't that great? So someone is going to win each one of these. Okay, so that is how you can put some spring containers together. Remember, if it does drop below 28 degrees, you're gonna wanna get out there and cover them. But otherwise, go to the store, grab some pansies and some other things, make yourself up a spring container and enjoy some color. I'm Michelle with the Landscape Connection. Thanks so much for watching, and keep on gardening. Bye now.